Hello, my name is Angel Chen. My co-author Wenshan Zhu and I are very honored to present our research at the ICTO conference. The topic of the research is allocating resource equitably and efficiently in enhancing learning outcomes. And it's a case study based on the early education in Zhejiang province. So Wenshan is from Ningpo Childhood Education College in China. She's also currently a PhD student at the National Zhejiang University in Taiwan. And I'm working as a writing curriculum and analyst at the San Jose State University. So first of all, our introduction, there are a couple other literature inspired for the studies. Chen find out there are more and more reforms proposed to enhance the effectiveness of teaching and learning in China. And also Liu and others also find out many studies argue that such a different learning outcomes, the variation in learning outcomes is because the resource discrepancies in each region. So in other words, usually in China's case, the Zhejiang province is in the east regions, and the east region usually had more resource compared to other regions. So the Ministry of Education in China, they are Activate the implementation of early childhood education plan in 2017. So this study tracked back to the time to see how the resource was allocated before this time frame. So there are also other studies inspired for these studies. March 2017, they also find out resources are distributed more equitably and also utilized more efficiently from 2002 to 2008. And Feng and Wang also examine the allocation of resource to early childhood education and find that efficiency has increased over time. And there are other factors inspired, for example, the OECD, the student-teacher ratio in early childhood institutions. So we use that as an indicator to look at the resource. So in China, it's 16:1. In the United States, it's 12:1. So one teacher teach 12 students. So China, you see, in China, teacher need to teach 4 more students on average. So this is recommending ratios. So if one teacher teach more students, like over 17 or 18, it's not really considered to violate the educational rule in China because early childhood institutions, they are not compulsory education in China. So first, there are a couple of research questions these studies are seek to answer. First, we want to see how resource differs by regions. So in another word, in this province, do the different regions have different resource? And second one, what are the overall trends allocating educational resource by regions from 2007 to 2016? Is there any trends differently from year to years and over the 10-year span? And third one, we want to see if there's any policy interpretations could be drawn from the result of the studies. So first, our method, I would like to define the different regions of the studies. So we basically based on how Chinese government define the scale of the cities, except we don't have any subscale regions in these studies. So the first one, the first tier regions, they are metropolitan cities, including Hangzhou and Ningbo. And we are looking at the average of the cities. And second tier regions, we have 3 cities here, including Wenzhou, Jiaxing, and Shaoxing. They are different scale of the cities within these regions. So we are, again, looking at the average of these regions. And third tier, also including 2 cities, we are also looking at average of the city. The first tier region, we only have 1 townships here in this study. That's Huzhou. That's the only available data. So the data analysis in this study has 2. First one is descriptive statistics. We are looking at if any regional difference from 2007 to 2016, and also how each region are differ by 10-year time frames. The second one, we are going to use regression to determine the causal relationship of factors, different factors such as number of full-time teachers, number of enrolled students, number of schools, and educational budgets to the composite of an educational resource. So we call those different factors as predictors. So for example, we just look at this one, educational resource is the outcome variable. And if the educational budget is going to have any relationship with the educational resource, and if that's so, how much is the relationship? So here's the results. First of all, we are going to see the educational budget by regions. So we only have 2016 data. So this is the only one. Now, first one, we are going to see the only region have more resource above average. That's first tier regions has significantly much higher resource, especially when you compare to the fourth tier region, the resource budgets almost double here. And for the second tier and third tier, there is some difference, but there's not a lot of difference between those two regions. So we will see it's quite balanced here. The second one, we are going to see overall educational resource by regions. A couple things we can see here. First one is number of schools, and the number of teachers, and number of students, and the student-teacher ratios. First, we are going to take a look at the second tier region has very balanced resource in all the data here. They are all close to average. And second one, we're going to see the number of school here. Now we can see the third tier had a lot of more number of schools compared to other regions. But when we look at the students number of students here, we did not see that many of students in the third tier regions. Now with all those data points here, we can see the student-teacher ratios by regions here. The first one, we are going to see first tier had 19, and over here, we want the number to be a little bit lower. So the first tier means one teacher need to teach at least 19 students on this 10-year span. And the first tier region also pretty high as well. One teacher need to teach 17 students. So this is all above national average. And for second tier and third tier has pretty average number here, pretty good. Now, the next time we are looking at the different regions. We start with the first tier regions by 10-year data. Now, first, we are going to see a number of school. Number of school has been declining a little bit in the first tier regions. However, with that, number of students and the teachers has been increasing since 2007. So with that said, we will say the students and the teachers that have that fewer school choice in terms of where they can study or where they can work. And the good news over here is student-teacher ratio has been decreasing from 18 to 14 from 2007 to 2016. So in 2016, the student-teacher ratio has been under the national recommending average. The second tier region is very balanced in most of the resource. We can see the most of data points are around the average line. We also see pretty steady of increase in number of students and teachers. Basically, the teachers increase, also you see the increase of student as well. So it's very balanced here. And for the student-teacher ratio, it starts with 15 students and it down to 13 in 2016. So with all the time frame, 10-year time frame, it's all under the national recommending average. The third tier region, we can see significant higher number of schools in 2007. So at the 2016, you see at least 300 students schools are decreasing in this 10-year time frames. So, and with that, we are only going to see the number of students and teachers. We don't see that many increase of students here, but with the student increase a little bit more rapidly after 2007, we see a little bit decrease in the decrease of the number of schools as well. And for the student-teacher ratio was down to 15 to 11, so it's always under the national average. So in 2016, you see one teacher teach 11 kids. This is also pretty good average. So for the first tier regions, we see a very steady of a number of schools, doesn't really increase or decrease much compared to other regions. And same with the students and teachers as well. Now we see more increasing in teachers. And with that, we can see the student-teacher ratio decrease from 25 to 16. So which is pretty good, finally down to the national recommending average in 2016. So with all this result, we're going to see a regression results, see which factor is related to educational resource. So they are shown on the graph here. They are number of teachers, number of students, and also education budget. The number of school is highly related to the education budget, but it's not really related to educational resource in these regions. So with that said, we draw our conclusions. First, we definitely see the regional difference even in this province. Specifically, we see first tier region had the least resource compared to other regions. And the first tier had more education budget compared to other regions. So again, the good news we see is the student-teacher ratio all the way down to below 16 at the end of 2016. So based on the results, we have several policy recommendations. First, we believe, according to this study, establishing more schools may not be a wise approach to allocating resources in these regions. Second, it is recommended hiring more full-time teachers might enhance learning outcomes in this province. Thank you so much.